Hello, and welcome to a Postdocs Journal, the show that takes you through my journey into and eventually out of academia as a postdoctoral research scientist. My name is Simit Patel. Hello. Thank you very much for joining me. Welcome back to those of you who have listened to the show before, and if you're listening for the very first time, a very warm welcome. If you don't already know, this podcast is based on my own personal journal. In each episode, I read out a journal entry from about 12 years ago when I was working in academia as a research scientist, as a postdoc. Then I reflect on it, I analyze it, I try to make sense of it, and share my thoughts with you today, with the benefit of 12 years of hindsight. If you are a student or a postdoc or just someone struggling in academia, or if you're just someone who can relate to stress in the workplace, things like imposter syndrome and loneliness, I hope that by sharing my own personal experience with you, that helps you to feel a little bit less alone. In the last episode, I started to ask a really important question. Should I change the way I work to suit the job? Or should I change the job to suit the way I like to work? In today's episode, we jump to about 10 days later, so just before Christmas 2013, where I start to build on this idea. The next step for me was to try and figure out the way that I actually like to work. Over the last few months of 2013, I started keeping track of all the positive and negative moments that I would experience at work. I kept a little black book that I kept at my desk at all times. Every time something good happened and I felt good about work, I would write it down. And every time something made me unhappy, I would write that down too. It's like a little mini journal I kept to help me collect this qualitative data about myself to analyze and figure out how I like to work, and in turn figure out what type of job I would be happy doing if I were to leave academia. I actually still have the book. I'm looking at it right now. It's on my desk. And I've actually used it a few times since I left academia as well. Whenever I start to get a little frustrated at work, or I feel like I'm getting the urge to find a new job or have a career change, I turn to this book to help me figure out what I want. So this little book has become an essential tool for me that I've used to help me figure out what I actually want at various times, and I even use it today. So this journal entry is a slightly different format to the others in the previous episodes. In this journal entry, I was trying to collate everything I wrote in that little book and try to make sense of it. So I essentially just list out all the things I like and dislike and try to find some patterns. So have a listen now to the reading, and I'll be back at the end to share some thoughts with you after the benefit of 12 years of hindsight. Enjoy. 23rd December 2013. Another year. I've pretty much ended up right back where I started. Lonely, unhappy, and underperforming at work. That last one has been getting worse with time, and I'm sure it will continue to get worse with more time. I'm a little wiser, I suppose, but it's difficult to appreciate that in the short term. I've been keeping a record of the things that I like and don't like about work. I hope this will help me to analyze what I actually want. Things I like. Number 1, knowing exactly what I need to do at the very start of a series of steps. Number 2, only having one thing to do at a time. Although I enjoy a degree of variety of tasks, the different tasks should complement each other. Number 3, explaining things to other people, especially something rather complicated. I love seeing it when the penny drops for them. This makes me feel like my personality and my enthusiasm have more value than anything else. Number 4, using my voice. There's a depth and volume and resonance to my voice that I find comforting when I use it. Number 5, doing something simple that takes very little effort on my part, that means a lot to someone else, and then being thanked for it. Number 6. Deciding for myself what I can realistically achieve in a given time constraint, and for that to be enough. Number 7. Ping-ponging work with other people. I enjoy that feeling of work being temporarily out of my hands. Number 8. Consolidating and summarizing what I know about something and conveying it in writing or a short speech, even if I don't feel I have the full picture. Number 9. Smiling at people and giving them a sense of comfort. Here is the list of things I don't like. Number 1. Not knowing what I need to do at the very start of a series of steps, when those skills and specific knowledge are totally missing. Number 2. Multitasking. For example, having multiple projects on at the same time, or having to simultaneously think about multiple steps at the same time. Number 3. Being unprepared. Not having time to think about the answer to a question or being forced to make a point I haven't had the chance to formulate in my head. Number 4. Having responsibility for someone else. Making decisions and choices that someone else will have to bear the cost for if it goes wrong. Number 5. Encountering problems or speed bumps that stop things from running smoothly. I do not see them as fun challenges or opportunities. Going over this list, what strikes me the most is that there's very little science in there. I thought a love of the subject matter was always my main motivation, but it's completely missing from these lists. I certainly don't hate the science, not at all, but I just don't seem to appreciate it that much. Maybe I've become desensitized to it. Maybe I would only appreciate it if I were to lose it. It's actually hard to find any themes in either of these lists. If I do find a theme, I find something else that immediately contradicts it. For example, control seems to be a theme. I like to have control, although I also like it when I don't have any responsibility. Interacting with other people seems to be something I like, but only in specific circumstances. Like when I'm using my voice or helping someone, but not when I have responsibility for someone. I need to come up with a proper career plan. That's my goal this Christmas. Figure out and map out what I'm going to do. Okay, thank you very much for listening to that. So hearing that back actually feels really, really good, especially the list of things that I like. It feels like I'm transported back to those moments and actually similar moments I've experienced since leaving academia. It's like reconnecting with the joy that I've gotten from work in the past. And a lot of the list really still feels spot on. I feel like I got it all right. It's something quite satisfying. Even with hindsight, I feel like everything on that list is still 100% correct and true today. I actually don't have too much to discuss about this journal entry because, honestly, I don't think there's much value to be added by over-analysing every one of those points, but I will share some general thoughts with you. Before we get into the reflection, I want to ask you a quick question. Do you ever worry about your paper being rejected because the English isn't good enough? One thing I've always been good at is writing, but I know not everyone finds that easy. Perhaps English isn't your first language, or for some reason, the words you write just don't quite capture what you want to say. Good English can enhance your scientific credibility, increase the chance of your article being accepted, and speed up the peer review process. Whether you're a research scientist, a scientific writer, or part of a dynamic biotech company, I want to help you with my professional copy editing and proofreading services for scientific English. Enhancing the clarity and precision of writing has been an integral part of my professional life in academia and in the biotech industry for over a decade. If you need a native English speaker with a solid scientific background and a professional certification in proofreading to refine and polish your writing, I would love to help you. Please visit simitpatel.com, that's simitpatel.com for more information. Thank you, and now back to the show. The main reason I wanted to include this journal entry in this podcast was really just to give you a working example of how to do this kind of exercise. There may be some of you out there who are struggling at your job, whether you're in academia or not. It's very natural to go through periods of reevaluating what you want. But it's not always so easy to do. One of the biggest questions and existential questions I face quite frequently is, what do I actually want? Like I said earlier, keeping this little black book and writing down the things that I like and don't like about my job has really helped me to figure out what I actually want from a job. And maybe this is a technique that you can use to help you figure out what you want too. I think one of the reasons why I find it such a good exercise is that it allows you to take action and do something in those difficult moments. So in those frustrating moments in particular, it's easy to feel a bit powerless and stuck in your current situation. By writing down what's frustrating you and rationalizing it into a general statement about what you don't like about your current situation, you're doing something active to turn that frustrating moment into something valuable. Something that you can reflect on later, and that information can help you build a better life for yourself in the future. I think the tricky thing with this exercise is knowing what to do with those lists of statements afterwards. In that journal entry, I attempted to collate all of that information into a nice table in my journal, and then I was just hoping that I would see some kind of pattern or theme, and then that would give me some direction in terms of what I actually wanted to do. But that didn't actually happen. I was just left feeling really confused by the end of that journal entry and didn't really know what to make of it. But the main value of this exercise is just to give you some kind of list to refer back to when you are assessing potential job opportunities later. It acts as like a checklist for what you want and what you don't want. If you're looking for, interesting job titles or going through job adverts, or even if you're interviewing for a job and getting more information about the role, you can have this list to refer back to see if this job actually fulfills your criteria. If you can check off lots of the things you like, then you can be confident that it's a good fit for you. If you're seeing lots of things that you don't like, then those are some red flags there, and you know that it's just not right for you. For example, when I was interviewing for a field application scientist role, that was my first job out of academia, I was able to see that there was a nice variety of tasks for me. I get to explain complex concepts like statistics and genomics to people. I was able to use my voice for presentations. I get to smile at people and make them feel comfortable when I'm doing marketing activities and tech support and so on. So that helped me get some direction, and knowing that this going down this field application scientist route was going to be a positive experience for me because it fulfilled a lot of my criteria in terms of how I want to be working. So doing this exercise and keeping this little book was a really positive step to take for me in terms of understanding myself. At the time, it was a bit tricky to know what to do with this information and how to use it effectively. But I did know deep down that it was still a valuable thing to do. I just didn't know how exactly, and I guess my gut instinct was right. As I said earlier in the intro, since leaving academia, I have revisited this book and used it to write down things I like and don't like about other jobs, especially when times are tough and I'm thinking about changing jobs and I'm not too happy. I've actually gotten a lot more advanced with it and how I use it. I've taken all the information in the book and I've created spreadsheets and formulas, and I've created categories for each statement, and I've found a way to quantify the analysis so that I can examine in numbers what aspects of different jobs I like and dislike. I've probably taken it too far. I'm a bit weird like that. But either way, it was great for me to revisit this moment in this journal entry where I was taking this positive step towards leaving academia. So there you have it. I know that was a relatively short episode and discussion, but I was aiming for quality today, not quantity. If you are struggling to figure out your next career move, I really hope that you consider using this method of keeping a little book of all the things you like and dislike about your job. It really helped me to figure out what I want and, more importantly, what I don't want, and I really hope that it can help you too. If you will be trying it, then please let me know. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn, Blue Sky, or on Instagram. All of my contact info is in the show notes. In the next episode, we jump to just after Christmas 2013. This is the final journal entry for 2013, coming to the end of my second year of my postdoc. And actually, it will be the final episode of Season 1 of a Postdocs journal. I will be taking a short break after the next episode, but I will definitely be back with Season 2 later this year. Some more details about that in the next episode. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope that was valuable for you in some way. And until next time, please be kind to yourself.
Brood about it, brood until the day, one day I will find the words to say.
Thanks again for listening to A Postdocs Journal. I've been your host, Semit Patel. If you've enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please share it with others who you think might find it helpful and interesting. You could also leave a review over at Podchaser or on Apple Podcasts. If you can relate to anything in this episode, or if you have your own take on this journal entry, I would love to hear from you. Please feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn, Instagram, or Blue Sky. Links to all my social media are in the show notes. Thanks again.